Rival rallies are planned in Venezuela's capital on Wednesday. Anti-government protesters have called on students from across the country to travel into Caracas and join a march against President Nicolas Maduro. Meanwhile, the education minister has called for a youth rally in support of Maduro. Well, Andy Gallagher is in Caracas for us. A lot going on, Andy. Bring us up to date with what's happening there.
Well, Shuli, for the first time in the last few weeks, Caracas has started to feel like it's getting back to normal. As I stand here, I can hear the din of traffic outside, but it's not an entirely accurate picture of the entire country. We have had some demonstrations in the few days. For instance, doctors demonstrated just in the last 48 hours. That was fairly peaceful. But today's demonstration could be a lot larger than any we've seen in a while. As you said, students have called anti-government protesters out onto the streets. Now, they were intending to start their protests in Plaza Venezuela, but we heard that the National Guard have been in that square since last night. So clearly, they are trying to protect Caracas. In fact, Nicolas Maduro, in one of his lengthy addresses last night, said he would do all he can to protect the city. So the situation is still tense. These two demonstrations at the moment are apart, and I think the National Guard will try and keep them that way. But it is a representation of just how the situation is still rumbling on. And certainly Caracas isn't entirely reflective, especially if you look to San Cristobal, 1,000 kilometers west of here, the Andean city near the Colombian border, which is almost entirely cordoned off by protesters there who've built massive barricades, and it's very difficult to find any word of what's actually going on down there. So it is still a tense situation. People are still trying to make their voices heard, and President Nicolas Maduro is still trying to maintain order.
But those who are protesting against him, Andy, largely because of the economic problems in Venezuela, who are these people? Because the Maduro government has tried to portray them as little rich kids.
Well, I don't think that's entirely accurate. Certainly, if you head over to Petare on the east of Caracas, which is one of the poorer neighborhoods, you'd think nothing was going on because a great majority of the poor still support their president. But most of the trouble has happened in middle-class neighborhoods. I wouldn't say they were rich kids at all. Many of them are students, some medical staff, some with an axe to grind. Remember, inflation here is running away at around 56%. There's still a chronic food shortage. We've heard there's a chronic shortage of medical supplies. And if you go to somewhere like San Cristobal, it's an entirely different picture. Just about everyone in that city is out on the streets. They're almost entirely anti-government. So it's too much of a broad brush sweep to say that these people are little rich kids out on the streets trying to cause trouble. It's a far deeper problem than that. Remember, there is this chronic shortage of things like flour, rice, even toilet paper in a country that is one of the oil richest nations in South America. So the problems run deep, and I think the demonstrators certainly come from a broad spectrum.
Andy, thanks very much indeed for that. Andy Gallagher in Caracas there.